from the Morgan County Partnership for today's Positive Action Weekly Virtual Lesson. Are you ready, 8th grade? This week we're going to talk about a really important word, and we've heard a lot about it in the news lately. The word is inclusion. Are you ready? Let's get started. It's time for positive actions. Es sola acción positiva. We welcome you to PositiveValuesNetwork.com. Morgan County Partnership is so excited to have you with us today. Whether you are at home for virtual or remote school, maybe it's distance learning, or you might be in the classroom with your teacher or social worker or counselor, or maybe you're at home or in the workplace even. The Morgan County Partnership is so glad to have you with us this week for the Positive Action Value. Now, here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about a new positive action value word. We're going to take a look at a positive action activity, and we're going to get a chance to talk about why positive actions are so important. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Once upon a time, there's a man named Martin Luther King Jr. It's funny to think about because now we know his name so well, but at one time he was just a kid. Like maybe you're a kid watching this. Well, he was a kid too. Well, maybe you're a grown-up. That's okay too. Former kids are welcome here. I don't discriminate. Martin Luther King grew up to be a great man, of course. But things weren't all that great in the world while he was growing up. Not everybody was treated like they were somebody. And I believe that you should treat everybody like it's their birthday. But they didn't do that. People looked at the color of their skin. And that's how they decided if they were friends or not. Not cool, man. That didn't make him feel good. That didn't make anybody feel good. But his parents helped him grow up. He went to church. He learned about love. He grew up to be a minister to help a lot of people. He did all sorts of cool stuff. He helped a lot of people learn about love too. But still, he looked around and said, things should be better. He wanted to change things, so he did stuff. He decided instead of spreading the hate, he would spread the love. He wanted to bring people together. Where people were hurting, he stepped in to help. He marched with them. He walked with them. He walked arm in arm with everyone. And sometimes it didn't go well, but he kept going. Sometimes he ended up in prison, but he kept going. Some people didn't like him, but he kept going. Some days were hard, but he kept going. Love does that. It just keeps going, even when things are dark. And, well, I don't like this part of the story, but things did get pretty dark. Someone who didn't agree with him shot him. He died in April 1968. Now keep pressing it. Why are you telling us this sad story? Come on. I know it. I'm sorry, but it happened. I don't like that happened. Now I gotta tell you something. When things aren't awesome, it can be tough. And things will always be awesome, but your response can be. Martin Luther King's response? It was awesome. Today I just wanted us to think about this. Isn't it cool that we can change things? Like any of us, anybody. He dreamed and he changed things. And he dreamed and he kept sharing his dreams. They became not just his dream, a lot of people's dream. Like this one. I have a dream that little black boys and black girls will join hands with white boys and white girls and become sisters and brothers. That's a pretty good dream. Let's dream like that. That could change things. I had the honor of meeting Dr. King's son, Dr. Martin Luther King III. And you can find our conversation in my new book, The President's Guide to Being Awesome. He's a really great leader, and he even wrote a book called My Daddy, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's so good that I want to book it forward. What about you? How can you book it forward? Here's a few ways that people are doing it already. Look at this, it's amazing. It's really cool to see it spread. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being awesome.
Inclusion. Teenagers, do you know what the word inclusion means? It's really important these days, and this month you've probably heard a lot of talk on the news or in our community about unity and bringing people together. Well, inclusion is a positive action. Let me read this for you. Inclusion is the practice or policy of providing equal access to opportunities, programs, and resources for people who might not otherwise have those opportunities. They might otherwise be excluded or marginalized. And those groups of people include maybe people who have physical or mental disabilities, and it also includes members from different races, cultures, religions, and backgrounds. Inclusion, where we make an effort to help those who are marginalized and have them become a part of the community. Now, a friend of mine, Kid President, he has some great positive actions for inclusion, and this is what we want to talk about today. So listen to these seven positive actions, okay? And this week, we'd like you to pick one or two and see if you can try them around your friends, your family, your community, and let's start making a more unified country, a more unified neighborhood. The first positive action, and it's my favorite one, is to love. Love, 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 love. All about love. If we can start with the thought, with love, how can we be thinking about love? That will lead to positive actions. Choosing love over hate. Choosing kindness over bullying. Those actions begin with love. All right? And the second action is to unite. All right? Now, we talked about last week with diversity, a very important fellow, Dr. Martin Luther King. And he had a dream to unite all people. And when you unite, that means bringing people together. And we don't just pick and choose the people we want to unite with. You don't pick just your political party. You don't pick just your religion. You don't pick just your race and bring those people together. Inclusion means you look for those of the marginalized populations or people who are different or diverse from you. And that's unity, okay? And maybe you watched some of the programs recently with the inauguration of the new president. But there's a real effort, a real intentional program for inclusion. And it's a positive action to be open-minded, think with an open mind, and try to be a part of that, because I guarantee you and I promise you'll feel positive about those results. The third positive action is to help. Help with love in your heart. Help. Where people are hurt, help them. Where people are struggling, help them. When somebody needs something, help them, okay? People are hurting right now, teenagers, and maybe you know someone with a mental issue or something happening in their homes. If they're hurting, what can you do to help? And inclusion means you reach across the aisle and you help somebody who looks different, who thinks different, who has different beliefs. Helping means you help everyone. And the policy for inclusion, we help the marginalized, okay? We help those who are suffering, those who don't have the same opportunities as us, and we take a moment to try this. The fourth positive action, joining, walking, okay? When you help someone, you walk in their shoes. In love, teenagers, in love. Put yourself in their shoes, okay? Think about the person who thinks different than you, who looks different than you, who believes differently than you, okay? Who's had a different experience, whose family comes from a different place. Think about their experience, put yourself and walk in their shoes, okay? And then we begin to show empathy. We grow love with empathy. If we're able to consider that person's experience, and then we take those marginalized groups of people and we bring them together with all, okay? The fifth positive action is to keep going. Dr. Martin Luther King, he joined all races together, and he said he had a dream and he walked with them. And like Kid President said, things can be tough, right? Things can get really difficult, and we've seen that this month in January. Things got really scary. Were you scared? Maybe you were. I know I was scared. Things can get tough, but the positive action to keep going with love, all right? Just keep going with positive actions, okay? Including everyone. And the sixth one is change. These positive actions will help change the world. Right now, you know, we're looking for change, we're struggling, and we've had a different school year, a different country to handle, and you might be hearing at home things you don't understand. Be listening, okay? Listen and try to understand. Ask questions, okay? Find out answers, And if you need help looking for them, look around you, ask your parents, ask your teachers. Mrs. Hott, Ms. Shamer, we're here to talk about it with you, okay? Change. We're looking for change using diversity and inclusion. And then finally, like Dr. Martin Luther King, dream. It's you guys, teenagers. Can we talk? We want you to dream. Dream of your community. Dream of your community that cares, that shows love and empathy and respect for all, is inclusive of all, okay? All types of politics, all races, religions, beliefs, colors, backgrounds, wealth. Include everyone, because just like a puzzle, you all are unique, right? But when one of you is missing, our puzzle won't fit together. We need everyone to come together to make that beautiful picture. And that's a dream. Martin Luther King said he had a dream that his children would walk with children of all colors, okay? White and black alike would be together and included, and would be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character, okay? Your character, your values are your character, and how you treat someone else, that's a reflection of your character. So start with these positive thoughts: love, unite, help, join together, keep going for change and a better world, okay? Dream that, guys. Listen, teens. But while I may be the first woman in this office, I will not be the last, because every little girl watching this sees that this is a country of possibilities. And to the children of our country, girls and boys, regardless of your gender, our country has sent you a clear message. Dream with ambition. Dream. Lead with conviction, and see yourselves in a way that others may not, simply because they've never seen it before.
Because I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
All right, Super Scholars, let's get started. On PositiveValuesNetwork.com, you'll find this week's Positive Action activity from Ms. Shema. Just look at the Materials tab and you'll find the activity for inclusion. Or grab a piece of paper and here's what you'll do. First, draw a rainbow and then trace your hand. Now, once you have some hands, pick a positive action from Kid President that helps the world find inclusion. What can you do this week? Will it be showing love? That's the best value ever. Can you help unite? Bring people together in your home or neighborhood or your classroom. Look for people with diversity and unite with them. Help others, everyone you see. Join together and walk with others. Experience someone else. Ask them questions and join with them, and keep going, showing empathy for all. When we understand another's experience, it helps us make strong communities. Then, what can you do to change the world? These positive actions on your core values. Like Dr. Martin Luther King said in his dream, it is my dream too. Let's not judge each other by the color of our skin, rather by the content of our character. That's a beautiful dream. What's yours?
Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace, and the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we'll forever be tied together, victorious. Not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the West. We will rise from the wind-swept Northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked South. We will rebuild reconcile and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
High school's hard, right, Miss Shema? It's hard. So Shema and I are really hoping that you come back to Positive Values Network each week for a new video that we're going to share ways to help you get through this, because we care about you and we want you to know this. Are you ready, Miss Shema?
Yes.
You are unique. You are important, and every one of you, you are wonderfully made. See you next week.